As we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year and the beginning of the new year, everyone seemed to be looking forward towards the future. But this reading is taking a bit of a step back and reflecting back on the year that we have gone through. So in this reading, we are looking back on the development that you have done and how far you have come. So if you are interested in finding out exactly how much you have grown, developed, and leaped ahead, and which significant changes you have actually gone through in the past year, then make sure to keep on watching because we're going to be diving into all of that. Now, we have 4 piles to choose from in today's reading, and they are each represented by a card. Pile number 1 is represented by the Panther. Pile number 2 is represented by the Bee. Pile number 3 is represented by the Gazelle. And pile number 4 is represented by the Elephant. To choose the right reading for you, make sure that you are calm and present and that you are not being distracted by anything around you so that you could tune into the present moment and just feel your way through each pile. Now, you may be drawn to a specific image, a specific animal or creature. You may be drawn to a specific element, anything like that. Just trust your intuition and go off of that. But also, please use your discernment as you are watching and listening to these general messages. When you are ready, you can go into the description box down below and click on the timestamp that you need. And without further ado, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 1. So you chose the Panther card, and as the first sort of messages that I'm getting that you may have experienced this year or why you feel drawn to this card is most likely because the year possibly was quite challenging for you. It maybe required you to come out of your comfort zone quite a bit, and maybe there were several instances that really either triggered you or that were almost like an upheaval to your old way of being or just your general day-to-day life. Maybe your routine was wildly interrupted at times, or you have had to readjust your life or even possibly build something from the ground up. Because this whole Panther energy is somewhat hostile, but it's also somewhat protective and fierce. And so, yeah, it seems like maybe there have been people who have been pushing your buttons or who have really gotten under your skin, and maybe you have had to almost like stand up for yourself, for what you believe in, for the type of life that you want to lead and the sort of values that you have. Maybe you have had to set something straight. Maybe you have had to fight for something that you believe in. It just feels like there is a lot of very extreme or turbulent emotions involved. And even though in the moment it most likely wasn't the nicest to go through, but I feel like it has been extremely valuable in the way that you have grown and how much you have learned. And I feel like this has almost been like a pivotal year in your self-development, and possibly even in like your external realm being sort of rearranged somehow, or maybe there have, been a lot of changes to your external reality. So I feel like it has really toughened you up, and you have possibly become a lot more tough-skinned as well, or thick-skinned, I guess is the right word to use. So yeah, that's the sort of the initial feelings that I'm getting from this Panther card that you were drawn to. But I am going to move on to the next section now, which is all about the main keywords and themes of the year. And so as we are looking at those, hopefully it'll be very easy or even more clear to you that you are actually watching the right pile. So if you can resonate with these keywords and themes, then, this is most definitely your reading. So let's see, what are the main keywords for pile number 1 regarding the year? Okay, I'm getting all the cards out, and then we will look into them. Okay, wow. Thank you. Main themes and keywords for the year for pile number 1. Thank you. Okay, we're getting 2, so you're getting some extra cards. Okay, so the cards that you got are broken bridge, unsuccessful outcome to a problem, pale, time to get out of a situation, vulture, depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you, lightning, control your anger or you will be sorry, fan, romance, celebration, party. Sorry, these are super slippery. Elephant, a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. And bow, you are highly thought of. Okay, pile number 1. So we are definitely getting some quite turbulent cards, and I'm not surprised based on the Panther energy that I was feeling and the sort of energies that came through that card. So looking at these main themes and keywords of the year, it definitely feels like, as I said, you have been tested and you have been challenged quite a lot, especially with both of the first 2 cards, which seem to be like some of the most challenging, because it may well have been that in this year maybe there was one specific instance that stands out to you, but maybe there were even several, some smaller and some bigger instances where, let me turn this down, sorry, otherwise you probably won't be able to see it very well. There we go. So possibly there were several instances where you either tried to salvage something, you tried to fix something, or there were certain situations that were very critical and that were almost like at their breaking point. Now, these could be anywhere from a relationship situation, this could have been a job situation, this could have been a living situation, or just maybe even your health situation, or just your daily routines in general. And it feels like whatever you were trying to do didn't really do the trick. It didn't really work. So it's almost like no matter what you try to do to save or salvage the situation, it's like the divine had different plans for you. And whatever this thing was, or these things were that broke down, that you couldn't save or repair, I feel like they were ultimately almost like this tower moment for you, that they were supposed to be broken down, or they were supposed to be eliminated from your life, because there was room that had to be made for you to move on to bigger and better things, more aligned things, I should say. Now, with this pale card, it's clear that something was pushed to the point where you had to leave it behind, or where you had to get out of a certain circumstance or situation or arrangement. Again, apply it to your life circumstances as you see fit, but clearly the atmosphere, the energy, the contract, the relations, the conditions got so bad or so unbearable that it was just time for you to leave, or it was time for you to make some radical changes. And again, possibly some of these things were almost like forced upon you. So they could have been people who left your life, or certain things that were taken out of your life that you again had possibly no control over. Now, clearly we have this vulture energy with depression and anxiety. So it definitely feels like you have gone through some heavy emotions and some pretty difficult like inner turmoil as well, where maybe you kind of lost faith, or you lost sight of how to move forward and what sort of next steps to take. So there could have been a time where you almost like took yourself out from day-to-day life, or where you almost isolated yourself in a way, or where you had to like get your ducks in a row and really sort everything out that you were feeling. But clearly this was something that was very difficult for you, and that dredged up quite a lot of heavy emotions as well. So definitely these changes that, again, either you initiated yourself or that were forced upon you, they weren't easy to go through, and they were emotionally very challenging as well. So there may have been almost like this dark night of the soul, or a very emotionally sort of dark and heavy period that you went through this year. Now, we also have this lightning card with control your anger or you will be sorry. And I do feel like, you know, there may have been almost like this switch, or even this complex variety of emotions that you went through. And possibly, again, this could have been something that happened that brought about this anger in you, or this, again, just this frustration of like, why is this happening to me? Why are these people doing these things? Why are they acting this way? Or, you know, even maybe you were even angry at the universe in general, you know, feeling like you were being targeted, or like the worst things were happening specifically to you. And so, yeah, it feels almost like this inner reaction that you had towards other people, and possibly like the universe in general, you know. But I also feel like there could have been some quite, again, some like conflicts. That's what I was feeling with the Panther card here too. There could have been some like conflicts or some triggering conversations that happened, where maybe even if you are not normally a very like aggressive person, it may have pushed you like towards your breaking point, right? It may have pushed you over the edge, where you maybe lashed out, or you said some things that you couldn't really take back afterwards, and maybe you even regretted. Or maybe they were things that the other person really needed to hear, and that really had to be said in that context in order for things to change. But again, because we have this part of like being sorry, it does seem like you may have had some relations that were either like disrupted, or maybe even broken completely, that were a result of this conflict or this disagreement that you had. And so again, even though it could be something that, you know, you may have regrets over, or you may be pondering or ruminating about and thinking like, why did I have to say that? Or I should have just kept my mouth shut, or I shouldn't have reacted in that way. So you may be having some guilt or regret over the way that you behaved or what you said. But again, I almost feel like this wasn't really in your control. It was something, again, this relationship either had to move to that point, or these truths that you almost like spurted out, or you know, that like came out of you involuntarily almost. I feel like they had to be said. So again, this disruption, which is very clear in the first 4 cards specifically, this was almost destined to happen. This is something that was karmic. This is something that you couldn't have avoided no matter what. That's what I'm feeling here, pile number 1. Now, the next row here, though, with the 3 other cards that are left, it's kind of interesting, because it feels like this is almost like this rebuilding energy that is happening. So we have this romance celebration party, and you are highly thought of. So it definitely feels like you may have experienced a very significant event or a very significant meeting. And especially I feel like the reason why this you are highly thought of card is here is because of your values and because of what you stood up for. I feel like this whole like inner transformation that you went through, and how you went about like rebuilding yourself or rebuilding your life, or even like reestablishing your values and your worldview in general. I feel like someone, or maybe even several people, who saw that transformation in you, or who were a part of whatever this rebuilding is that you were doing, I feel like they have so much respect for you because of how strong you are, how much you were able to endure during these tough times, how you conducted yourself, and how you didn't allow yourself to get like completely broken down, and how you decided to pick yourself up and move on. And so definitely I feel like there is someone, or possibly several people, who truly value you for, again, having the strength of character to express what it is that you feel is right, and to like, again, either get into conflict or endure like people being against you because of you not backing down from what it is that you believe in and what it is that you believe to be right. So yeah, and yeah, I feel with this fan that you may have just had some very significant or memorable events this year where, again, you could have met some important people during those, or there may have been some very significant conversations that happened, maybe even in one like celebration or party or something like that. Maybe that was even the setting where this like explosive conversation happened, where you had that like conflict, right? So again, I'm just bringing out the associations or connections as I see them, but obviously you again take it as it resonates. And finally, we have this elephant card. And so again, I just feel like this is a confirmation of you having gone through quite a bit of a roller coaster this year, and you having learned quite a lot out because of these experiences that you have gone through, and because of everything that you have had to face or stand up to or endure. And possibly even, you know, I do feel like a lot of it has been external, but I also feel like a lot of it to some extent has been internal as well, where you know, these more explosive things seem to have happened outside of you, but then I feel like the way that you went about processing those and evaluating everything that happened and reflecting upon everything and just like doing this inner development and growth and reflection, I feel like that has happened inside of you. And so like the biggest journey forward has really happened within like your own mindset and your own psyche and in your own belief system, just getting so much more in tune with what you feel to be right and following that. So yeah, just getting clearer on like what you truly stand for, and getting even like more solidified in this like new worldview or yeah, something like that. But this elephant could also represent that you have gone through some sort of a significant trip. Maybe you actually did take a long journey in a physical sense too. But as I said, I more strongly feel that this has been something that you have gone through internally, and that you have really grown as a person and gotten a whole lot more clear and aligned within yourself with what your truth is and what it is that you are willing to put up with, what it is that you are not willing to put up with, and just becoming a stronger individual in general. So that is kind of what I'm feeling here, pile number one. So if you could resonate with these messages, then definitely keep on watching, because we're going to start looking at your development more closely now with some tarot cards. And first off, we're going to see where or how have you grown the most this year. We have the Page of Swords with the King of Cups in reverse at the bottom, but I want one more card. Okay, we're getting two cards. Okay, yeah, wow. Wow. Okay, we have the Page of Swords, King of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. And we have the Ten of Swords at the bottom, so there is a lot of air energy. We are having some Gemini, Libra, Aquarius here, specifically Aquarius coming through very heavily, but also Gemini. And with the King of Pentacles, we have some earth energy, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and more heavily Taurus energy. And I'm just pointing out the signs in case you resonate with them. Okay, pile number one. So we are getting quite heavy confirmation regarding everything that we have been talking about. But just to quickly recap, with the Page of Swords, it's clear that one of the areas in which you have most grown this year is having a whole new perspective on things and having a very clear idea of what it is that you stand for, where your values lie, what is the truth, what is the ultimate truth for you, right? Like your subjective truth. And I also feel like that, again, there is an element of gaining in courage or becoming more vocal about what it is that you believe, and not feeling afraid to stand up to any opposition or to get into like conflicting situations because of, or even like just, you know, arguments. They don't have to be like blown out conflicts, but just not being afraid to verbalize what it is that you feel that is right, what it is that you stand for. And if other people don't get that, or if they have a negative reaction to it, I feel like you have learned to like detach from that in a way and see that from like a very logical point of view, like not get emotionally so hyped up or so triggered that you react from like an emotional place. But this is very logical, this is very rational, this is seeing things clearly, and not really getting like emotionally involved and not letting your emotions cloud the whole situation. So I feel like this is just you starting to possibly adopt or see things in a new way, adopt some new mindsets or some new perspectives, having a broadening of the mind in general, opening up of horizons and things like that. Maybe you have also learned quite a lot again about yourself, but most likely also about life in general, and more in like these philosophical views. I feel like there has been a lot of growth there too. And with the King of Pentacles and King of Swords, it just feels like you have possibly, again, as I said, like reestablished yourself or laying a whole new like groundwork for your values, for what you will stand for what you will not allow to be like crossed or tarnished or anything like that. It just feels like you are a lot more firm in your boundaries as well, especially with the King of Swords here. I feel like you are a lot more firm with your boundaries and not allowing people to roll all over you or to push you or to try to manipulate you or control you or anything like that. We have such heavy masculine energy coming through, even though, you know, we're not talking about gender. This is very strong and powerful energy that is ultimately in control of themselves and is able to also take charge of the energy that is around them, right? So it's like a very hands-on, very proactive, very confident energy that is coming through here. Again, we have this combination of like practical, value-based energy that you seem to have really grown in, and possibly, again, it feels like you have had to like rebuild yourself and rebuild your foundations with this King of Pentacles. But also with the King of Swords, it just feels like you are so much more secure in yourself as a person. And with the Ten of Swords at the bottom here, again, we are getting heavy confirmation that you have had to endure some pretty big challenges, and you know, this is almost like this rock bottom kind of energy. And of course, it doesn't mean that all of you have had to gone through something as extreme as this, but the Ten of Swords is definitely a painful energy. It is something that pushes you to your limits. It's something that, like, again, as I said, pushes you to your breaking point. Obviously, as you have endured that, you have come out so much more strong, so much more resilient, and so much more secure within yourself. So I love seeing that. But let's look at in which ways you have moved away from what you don't want for your life. This one. Okay, thank you. So we have the Six of Cups at the bottom, we have the Six of Pentacles that came out in reverse, and the Eight of Pentacles. So heavy earth sign energy coming through here again. So with the Eight of Pentacles, I do feel like you have become so much more independent and so much more self-reliant. So this is an energy of learning, of growing, of developing your skills, of just developing as a person in general. And so I definitely get the sense that you have started to sort of do more for yourself and take matters more into your own hands, take more accountability for your life and for your life circumstances in general. And it feels like you are setting yourself up for success and you are doing your utmost. Or again, this is the year that you have been doing this, where you have been doing your utmost to get to the level of like quality of life that you want to get to, or again, to secure your future as much as you possibly can by like leveling up or upgrading your stocks or something like that, so that you could be more valuable in the eyes of, like, you know, if we talk about job scenarios and stuff like that, like in the eyes of potential employers, or if we're looking at a relationship scenario, then in the eyes of a potential partner or spouse. So you're just, it looks like you are doing a lot more yourself and depending a lot less on other people with the Six of Pentacles in reverse here. So the Six of Pentacles is a beautiful energy in general, and it is very generous, and it is very much of like sharing and receiving and all of that. But when it comes out in reverse, it clearly talks about not really relying on other people helping you out, or other people validating you or making you feel good about what it is that you are doing or who you are, or feeling like you need other people's support in order to feel like you are doing the right thing, or like you are, being, you are valuable or something like that. So it definitely feels like maybe previously you have, maybe you were a lot more reliant on other people, or maybe you were craving some sort of like, again, social acceptance or social validation a lot more than you are now. And it just feels like you have almost like aligned a lot more with what truly matters to you. And with the Six of Cups specifically, it just feels like you are only focusing on what truly adds value to your life, and you're not really wasting time on like, I don't know, niceties or some social norms, or just like, more of these like shallow things that you don't actually really believe in, or that you don't really align with. But that you were just sort of doing in order to go through the motions, or because that was something that you had to do, something like that. So let's see in which way have you moved closer to your dream life. We have the Six of Wands that came out in reverse. Oh. And we have the Nine of Pentacles with the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So again, more earth energy. Okay, so first of all, with the Six of Wands that came out in reverse, your idea of success may have changed quite drastically. And I feel like you possibly have even moved away somewhat from like trying to attain some social symbols or something like that, that maybe you thought previously that were important, or that you had to uphold, but maybe that don't actually align with, what truly makes you feel fulfilled. And so again, the Six of Wands is beautiful energy, but it very much talks about having like external recognition and being rewarded and being looked up to and admired and everything like that. But when it comes out in reverse, I just feel like you are finding success and value in other things, and it's almost like you are not really chasing anything anymore. It feels like you are a lot more like receptive, and a lot more sort of calm and patient, and just allowing things to come to you, because it's like you are much more aware of your value now, or you see yourself in a new way as well. And that allows for you to have like higher standards for your life, and higher standards to what you expect from yourself and what you expect from other people. This is not like, this is not like a bad thing, expecting more of other people and expecting more of yourself. It just feels like you sort of know exactly what it is that you want. Again, we had so much energy of like clarity and like being more determined in your own truth, and being very firm in that. I feel like that plays a key role in you finding more joy and finding more fulfillment in your life. And with the Nine of Pentacles as well, this is talking about you feeling good with whatever you have, and with whatever or wherever you are. And so it's almost like there is no need to go out there and chase these material or like external things to make you feel good, or to make you feel like you are a valuable part of society or something like that, or a valuable individual. I feel like you are finding a lot more of that where you are right now, and you're not really, again, you're not as dependent on like other external things. And it just feels like you are so much more happy with where you are, because with the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here too, it's almost like you have started re-evaluating some of the things that you were possibly doing or pursuing before, and realizing that, maybe those things weren't really worth chasing or worth pursuing, or maybe my energy is better placed someplace else, So it just feels like, you were closer to your dream life because you are finding gratitude and you are finding joy with where you are right now. Like, you are able to appreciate the journey, and you are not so much blinded by the destination, or like plainly driven by a destination, which is like kind of the Six of Wands type energy when it's upright. This is all about attaining something, reaching some sort of milestone, or reaching a goal, and like getting the accolades that follow that. The Nine of Pentacles, on the other hand, talks about, just feeling good with where you are, what you have, and who you are. And so it's just a very beautiful and grounded and present and mindful energy. Yeah, you've just come closer to happiness that is stemming from within you. And finally, let's look at the biggest value you are taking with you from this year. Oh, sorry. Again, I got a message with the Nine of Pentacles, so I just quickly want to point that out before we move on. So I also feel with the Nine of Pentacles that for some of you, you may have actually started like your own business, or started doing something to generate like passive income, or just like additional income, or something like that, where you are not necessarily reliant on like a 9-to-5 job, or something like that. It feels like, because of the new foundation that you have had to lay for yourself, it feels like you are now in a position where you are much more in control of your own resources, your own revenue. And yeah, so it's almost like your safety is in your own hands, or you control your own security. And that is something that, possibly you have been always like dreaming of, or wanting to have, like more getting closer to like financial freedom, or maybe even attaining financial freedom, even though I most strongly feel like you are on your way to that and not necessarily there yet. But again, take it as it resonates. Anyway, sorry, let's keep going. Okay, we have Justice in reverse, and let's see if we can get one more. Okay, and we have the Moon with the King of Wands at the bottom. So yeah, we're getting so much King energy here, which I absolutely love. So we have Libra energy with the Justice card, and Pisces energy with the Moon. So I definitely feel one of the things with the Justice card that came out in reverse is, first off, I feel like you are so much more confident with going through some level of extremes, or where things are, out of balance. I feel like maybe previously you may have been a lot more heavily impacted by it. It even feels like it may be like debilitated you or paralyzed you in some way, when things were not in your control, and where things were seemingly like unfair or unjust, or you felt like things were just kind of like in the extreme state, right? And maybe before it, as I said, like didn't really allow you to function properly, or you were so destabilized by that energy. But I feel like now, as you have gone through so much this year, and you have learned so much this year, with the Moon energy, it feels like you are now able to navigate these uncertain and scary times, or things being not really in your control, or feeling like they are not going according to plan. But it almost feels like it's not really making you like freak out as much. You're not really getting that like panicky or triggered by it. It just feels like you have already gone through it, so you know that you can rely on yourself. You know that you can handle these situations, and you can find your way forward. So I feel like that is ultimately the biggest sort of value that you are taking with you from this year. So again, we have this beautiful King of Wands energy, which is Leo, but it can talk about any fire sign, so Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And it just feels like, sorry if this card isn't focusing again, it feels like you have grown so much, and again, it developed so much, like within your character, within your persona. And so you sort of have this like innate strength now. And so again, there is so much more like boldness and courage and determination that maybe didn't really have the opportunity to come out as strongly. I feel like it was always there within you, but it just wasn't maybe as evident. And so now, whatever you are faced with in the future, it just feels like you are able to face whatever adversity, whatever challenge you are in, wherever you are pushed out of your comfort zone, and you are able to navigate the way through. So this is such a valuable gift or trait to take with you, pile number one. But I want to close the reading out with some last supportive messages from Spirit. So let's see if we can get any last support from Spirit regarding your reading, pile number one. Okay, we have one. Let's see if we can get one or two more. Okay, let's just keep it at that. Okay, so we have Direction Guardian, choose your path. So it definitely feels like, yeah, it almost feels like the world is your oyster, pile number one. I feel like that's what Spirit is saying here with choose your path. Because it's almost like whatever you choose, you can't go wrong. And again, it's like whatever trail you end up taking or whatever decisions you end up making, you are so well prepared to handle whatever comes up for you, you know? So yeah, this just feels like a very comforting and assuring message. And I absolutely love that. We also have Drum, Dream and Journey. And so, again, we're getting a message of journeying. Spirit is asking you to like push yourself even further than you thought was possible. Like dream even bigger than you usually dream, right? Because it almost feels like aim higher. Like that's what I want to say with this card, aim higher. Because again, you are much more well prepared for anything. And yeah, it's almost like you have gone through fire and you have been like purified or like, strengthened by fire. And so, yeah, it feels like Spirit is just asking you to be even more bold in your aspirations and venture out, just, you know, go crazy with how big your dreams are or what you feel like you want to accomplish or what you feel is possible for you to accomplish. We also have Arrow, surround yourself with protective energy at the bottom. So again, this just feels like a confirmation or a reiterating of the point about establishing boundaries, you know, making sure that you are firm in your boundaries, because I feel like that's what you have been doing and that's what you have been learning this year specifically. But to make sure that they stay in place, that they are not being like sneaked through or by some people, and that you value your energy and that you value who you share it with and who you invest it into. So that's what I feel for you, pile number one. These were the messages. It feels like it has been quite a roller coaster of a year, but that you have gone through it and you have come out the other side more strong, more resilient, more self-assured and more aligned than ever before. So I hope this reading was useful or insightful, or at the very least somewhat entertaining to watch. And I very much thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. And I thank you if you have been sharing and just showing your support to my little channel here on YouTube. I really, really appreciate you. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 2. So you chose this B card. And the first sort of inklings or messages that I'm getting about your year, pile number 2, just based on why you were drawn to this card possibly, is that your year could have been quite like busy and proactive and maybe even very much like productive and developmental, in the way that you could have achieved quite a lot of goals that you had set out for yourself, or maybe you just like grew in like leaps and bounds. Maybe you really like honed in on a certain habit or a certain activity that that you really wanted to see some results in. And this could be anything from starting to pay very close attention to your health and to your like daily routines, eating habits, exercise routines, all of that. Maybe you really took it upon yourself to see some improvements, to make some changes happen in how you look and also how you feel on the inside within your own body and in your own skin. But of course, this can be talking about your work situation, your career path. Maybe you saw quite a lot of results. Maybe you saw quite a lot of acknowledgement as well from what you were doing, especially based on like how this bee is centered in this like halo. It feels like you could have had quite a lot of eyes on you or quite a lot of attention. Maybe people really reacted to what you were doing, or they felt drawn to you. They felt interested in what it is that you were doing. Maybe a lot of people started like getting on board with what you were doing career-wise, or even like within your craft or something that you feel passionate about. So it could have also been like a podcast, a YouTube channel, a book, a blog, a vlog, anything like that. So it just feels like you were very much focusing on getting things done, seeing some results for your work. And it does feel like you were very much doing like some heavy work, like some serious, like putting your head down, doing the work, not really complaining, just being dedicated to a goal or vision that you have. But I also feel like there is something that you enjoyed about it, or that you were able to make this process enjoyable for yourself, or find some sort of happiness from it, because of all of this beautiful, light-hearted golden hues that we have on this card. It feels like the past year has been quite significant for you, in a sense that it has helped you along your path quite a lot, or it has helped you to like get closer to your ultimate dreams, or what you are ultimately trying to achieve and accomplish in your life. And I do feel like there have been these little wins here and there, like throughout the year, little milestones, which again, maybe like as you went through them, you didn't even register, or you didn't even recognize them as something to like celebrate. I feel like you just sort of put your head down and kept on working. But it also feels like when you add all of them up and you look back on them now, they could really be quite significant, or you can actually like see how much every little or each little win helped you to get to this point that you are in now, and how much closer you are to your dreams. So yeah, I also feel like there could have been quite a lot of teamwork or quite a lot of collaboration. So, maybe if in the previous years you have had to do things on your own a bit more, or you have been more of this like lone wolf and just, maybe working more independently, then I feel like in this past year, you have had a lot more like collaborative efforts, or opportunities for collaboration and doing some partnerships or doing cool projects with other people, being a part of cool endeavors as well. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it has been very productive, but that you have also received quite a lot of like recognition, or there have been some eyes on you and some eyes on what you were doing. And so, yeah, those kinds of energies are what are coming through just sort of initially from this bee card. But we are going to get a few more clarifying messages now, something a bit more specific. Just looking at the main keywords and themes of the year. So let's see, what are the main keywords and themes of the year for pile number 2? Let's get some cards out. Okay. Let's get one more from this one. Thank you. And getting 3 from this too. Some main keywords and themes of the year for pile number 2. Can we get one more? Okay, and you got 2 as well. Anyway, never mind. I'm just talking to myself. Don't mind me. Okay, so we have, wow. Okay. So you have bread, plenty of prosperity and abundance, dogs, getting together with friends, throne, position of authority, victory in some endeavor. You have success, you have candle, you will be shown the way, and teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. Okay, so it's kind of making me a bit like giggle or yeah, I don't know. It's funny to me that we're getting so many confirmations about everything that we were just talking about with this bee energy. So starting off with the first card that you got with bread, period of prosperity and abundance, it is quite clear that this year has brought to you some results. As I said, it feels like there have been quite a few like wins and accomplishments and little milestones that you have gotten, which may have very like evidently brought about financial rewards as well. So you may have gotten some, I don't know, some raises, some promotions. Maybe you were able to, maybe you got a bonus of some kind, or maybe you just got like a very nice reward for all of the work that you were doing. And so you were able to put some money aside and like make it grow, or make some very lucrative investments or something like that. It just feels like the results and the rewards that you have gotten this year are something that you have used to secure yourself in the future. So it's like you have been very wise about the rewards that you have gotten, and you have not just like splurged everything and just, you know, enjoyed yourself, even though to some extent I feel like you have done that too. But I feel like it has been very responsible, very well thought out, very carefully considered, and mainly you have kept yourself from like indulging in too much like spending or anything like that. And it feels like you have had your eye on like working towards the long haul, or the, you know, the long game, if I can say it that way. But anyway, it definitely seems like you have had some financial, or again, even if it wasn't financial, maybe you just got a lot of recognition, and again, people like really supporting you, people admiring you, what it is that you do, and really believing in what it is that you do, right? Like being there for you on the sidelines, cheering you on, that kind of thing. We have this dogs card here too. And so, as I said, that like this is talking about friendship, right? Like getting together with friends. So it definitely feels like, even though this is talking specifically about friends, I do actually feel like this could be talking about this like collaborative energy that I was referring to with the bee card too, where, you know, maybe you did have an opportunity to work on something really cool with your friends, or to just do something cool with your friends. That could have been what this card is talking about as well. Sorry, it isn't really wanting to focus. There we go. So yeah, it could definitely be that you did something cool with your friends, but I kind of even more feel like it could be talking about your coworkers too, or just some clients, or some partners that you work with, or something like that. It feels more like collaborative. So definitely some like collaborative efforts seem to be something that is very significant for you or were very significant for you in the past year. And maybe through those, you actually managed to get some very like cool, close friends now, or some new acquaintances, something like that like livened up your social life too. We also have throne, position of authority. So yeah, I mean, obviously you have experienced some sort of like, again, a promotion, or a moving up on the, like either on the business ladder, or maybe even like on a social ladder or something like that. It just feels like your reputation has definitely evolved, or, you know, been enhanced some way. So yeah, it just feels like you definitely have moved up. But with the throne card, you could actually have been given like a bigger role in some way. Again, it doesn't have to be necessarily talking about like work and career, even though these themes are possibly coming through the strongest. But this could even be that you like took on a new role in your like family dynamic, or you were somehow put in a position of like responsibility, authority, decision-making ability, something like that. Maybe you were given your own team or something, like a team of people to manage. We also have victory in some endeavor. And so, yeah, again, you know, this card very much speaks for itself. It definitely feels like I feel like it's not just in some endeavor. I feel like there have been several things that you have seen victory in, that that you were trying to accomplish and that you succeeded in. You know, so again, it feels like this is talking about more of these like little wins or little accomplishments that you experienced this year. Sorry, I swear. These cards and the whole zooming in and out thing. There we go. So yeah, victory in some endeavor. Yeah, I feel like there's not much more to say about that really, because you also have this success card. And so again, it feels like this is something that has almost been like this whole theme of the year, where it doesn't necessarily only have to talk about financial or work-related success. It just feels like the things that you have set your mind to and that you have worked diligently on, you have seen some growth in that. You have seen some success. You have seen some things working out for you or going in your favor or something like that. I even feel like there is a bit of luck here too for some reason with the success card. Almost like you have had a few lucky breaks, even though this card doesn't really talk about luck specifically, but it just feels like you, yeah, like obviously a lot of the success is talking about the fruits of your labor and everything that you have done to get this success, right? So this is the rewards for your hard work. But I also feel like, as I said, there have been some lucky breaks for you. So yeah, just in general, it feels like when you look back on this year, you can really sort of pat yourself on the back and sort of be very proud of how much you have accomplished. We also have this candle, you will be shown the way. So again, it seems like possibly this is also talking about some sort of mentor that, you know, that you either turn to or that you could get some very good advice from, or who like helped you in either getting used to your new role or setting yourself in to some sort of new environment, or just helping you out with something that you maybe needed some guidance on, or, you know, if you weren't really sure how to do, because it feels like there have been quite a few of these steps where you have had to like evolve or move on up in some way. And so within these like developmental steps, maybe some of these things have been a bit challenging to you, or where you have been a bit stunted and not really familiar with like what the best way to go about these things would be. And so you have had someone who was there to like guide you or help you. Or again, I feel like, again, there is this level of like luck coming through here too, where maybe like spirit and your spirit guides were there to like give you some little clues along the way, where you maybe felt a bit like, again, lost or a bit confused, or you weren't really sure what the best way to move forward would be. And then I feel like whenever you needed some sort of answer, I feel like that answer came to you. Either like you got a spark of inspiration, maybe you heard something on the radio, maybe you got some sort of synchronistic symbol show up on your path, maybe you saw something in a dream, something like that. I just feel like there's something very spiritual about this energy of you will be shown the way. So either there was like the insight that came through a specific person who guided you on this path, or you got that message somehow through like spiritual synchronistic events. And finally, we have teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. So yeah, like regardless of gender, I don't really feel like that is that important here, but it just feels like you have had very good relations with someone around you. So again, this could be someone that you like worked on a project on, or that you encountered as you were like moving up the ladder, or like moving to a new department or something like that. It just feels like this could also be the mentor that, you know, if you had some sort of mentor or life coach or anything like that you got in this year, then this could be talking about them too. But it just feels like, yeah, like a lot of support around you, and a lot of feeling very much like seen, feeling supported, feeling like you can kind of like do it all. And yeah, it definitely seems like other people were very much responsive to what you were doing and how well you were doing things, and you got the recognition, you got the rewards, you got some sort of something to to enjoy as a result of all of this hard work that you did. But I also feel like you got some quite significant and important and valuable relationships, friendships out of all of your efforts too, you know? So anyway, those were some of the main keywords and themes from the past year. So if you could resonate with this whole message here and this whole bee energy, then make sure to keep on watching, because we are looking more closely at your development now. So starting off first, we are going to see where or how you have grown the most this year. Okay, can we get one more? Thank you. Oh, beautiful. We have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. We have the Seven of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. So with Empress, we have some Venus energy coming through. So that would be Taurus and Libra. And I'm just pointing out the signs in case you resonate with them. And, you know, if you don't, that's fine too. Okay, so with the Seven of Wands, I want to start off with this card first. It feels like one of the ways in which you have grown the most this year is in your resilience and in your capacity to withstand stressful situations and to sort of, you know, keep going, even if you feel like things are not working out, even if you feel like there are so many like problems to solve or things to work out. It just seems like you have been, like you have been sort of tried and tested throughout this year, and that the path to success has not been easy. It has not been smooth sailing, you know. So because of that, it just feels like you have a higher threshold for like pain, discomfort, stress, all of these things. And I mean, of course, these are not good things to endure and to stay stuck in, right? But it just feels like you sort of have a very firm grasp on when you know that you have got more within you, when you know that you can push yourself just a tiny bit more to get something done, to get something accomplished, when it's time to, like, you know, really stand your ground, hold on, not give up, push through. That's all of the Seven of Wands energy. And when it is time to take it more easy, when it is time to take a step back and just sort of put your boundary in place, or just say like, okay, that's it, I'm done. Like I need some time for myself now. Like having that very clear sense of how much you are capable of and how much you have within you. I feel like that is definitely one of the places in which you have grown a lot. And especially it feels like maybe in like past years or previously, maybe you have been a lot more susceptible to like other people's influences, even like criticism and things like that. Maybe negativity and other people's opinions and judgments got a lot more under your skin and maybe deterred you from like going forward and keeping on doing what it is that you are doing. But I feel like now it's almost like what's the expression? Water off a duck's back. Is that the expression? You know, it's like it doesn't really get to you anymore. You sort of, you know what it is that you are doing. You know the value of it because you have seen other people react. You have seen the results now. You have physical proof of what it is that you are doing and how valuable that is. And so because you are so much more confident and self-assured now, you're not really bothered by the haters or the competition or just, you know, people trying to derail you. I feel like that is one of the ways in which you have grown the most. We also have the Three of Pentacles. And so again, that energy of like collaboration and working together with other people, especially if they are very, very different from you. I feel like there is something in you having learned to work in very diverse like groups or networks or something like that. You being able to manage and handle and communicate effectively with very different people, maybe even like some quite difficult people, because we have the Seven of Wands here too. So it definitely seems like you have grown in, first of all, getting yourself to like a higher level or higher standard where your skills have improved and you are even better at what it is that you do. You have reached some sort of level of like mastery in some way. That's what I feel. But also it definitely feels like just, you know, handling business and handling things and having to communicate and do things with other people, right? I feel like that is something that you have definitely developed and grown in quite a lot this year. But I also feel like you have become almost like a teacher in some way yourself. Like, because you have learned so much, because you have worked so much, you have put in the effort, the practice, and the time. You are now in a position where you are able to share your knowledge, share your wisdom with other people too, and to help them to develop to a higher level, or the next stage now as well. So again, we're getting this message or this confirmation of you rising up or leveling up in some way and getting more responsibility, a higher status, a higher position of authority, something like that. Especially with the Empress coming through at the bottom of the deck here. So this is definitely abundance once again. This is fertility. This is creativity. This is, just really being in your element and seeing the rewards for all that you have done and everything that you are, right? So this is a very, very lucrative energy, just sort of enjoying, again, the fruits of your labor, everything that you have worked so hard for. And again, this is a position of authority. This is people looking up to you. This is people respecting you and people being drawn to you for everything that you have within you, for all the wisdom that you can share with them, for all the advice that you can give, and just for even like your ideas and your vision for the future. I feel like there is something very creative about this as well, where your creative talents can truly shine, or they are shining a lot more now than they have been in the past, because of all of this confirmation that you are getting, that you are on the right path, you are doing the right thing, people are responding to what it is that you are doing, and they want more of what it is that you are doing. So let's see in which way you have moved away from what you don't want for your life anymore. Ooh. Wow, okay, I'm gonna keep that one. Yeah, we have the Sun in reverse at the bottom of the deck. We have the Eight of Swords and the Page of Wands in reverse. So we have some Leo energy coming through with the Sun, and some fire energy, some more fire energy with the Page of Wands here too. So Aries, Leo, Sag could be significant. Okay, so first of all, I want to start off with the Sun in reverse. I'm going to show you the image upright so it would be easier for you to see the super cute illustration. But with the Sun in reverse being the underlying energy, I definitely feel like your happiness and your contentment is something that you are placing a lot more emphasis on and a lot more value on. So, if something is not fulfilling you, if something is not making you happy, if it is something that you have to do out of, just pure responsibility, or because you feel like, you feel obligated to do something, but it doesn't really make you happy, then I feel like it's something that you are not really doing anymore. You're not investing yourself in it. You are not playing around with it. You are just saying no. And so, with the Sun, it just feels like your own self-expression and your own happiness and contentment is something that you are putting a lot more on the forefront now, because I also feel like you realize that if you are doing things from a place of joy and fulfillment and contentment, you are actually producing something that is of value to other people too. Because if you do something from a place of like frustration or anger, or even like apathy, right, then that sort of energy is something that translates, whether you want it to or not. It translates through your work and through what it is that you're doing, and other people can sense it. They can sense that there is no life there, there is no joy there is no energy there, and so it doesn't really do anything, right? It's kind of like a waste of time and a waste of your precious energy. And so you are not really entertaining those sorts of things anymore. It almost feels like you, especially if you resonate with having a bit of a people pleaser type energy, maybe you were very much that in the past. I feel like this past year has taught you to, not really do that as much anymore. And again, stay much more firm in what it is that you want to do, that you truly want to do. So with the Eight of Swords, it just feels like, if something is feeling restrictive, if something is feeling like it is pushing you in some sort of corner, or again, where it's taking away your autonomy, where it's taking away your joy, where it's taking away your freedom of choice, I feel like that is something that you are not really putting up with anymore. That is something that you are not willing to invest in, that you are not willing to tolerate. Because with the Page of Wands, which came out in reverse, this is like a clear message of like not going down that path, especially if it's some sort of opportunity or proposition that you get where you are not really sure how much freedom you would have, or how much like freedom of creativity, especially if it's something that demands a lot of you or puts a lot of like rules or regulations in place, a lot of norms that you have to follow. I feel like that is something that you are not willing to get tangled up in anymore, where like other people tell you specifically that, okay, this is what you have to do and this is how you have to do it, and like there is no room for negotiation. So yeah, it just feels like you are leaving behind all of these things that that push you in some sort of box, or that limit you in some way, and that take away your freedom of choice, your freedom of expression, your freedom of exploration, and just trying new and innovative things. Because especially with the Page of Wands, I feel like this is such a joyous, such an explorative, such an optimistic energy. And when it comes out in reverse, it just feels like any offer or any sort of journey, any project, any path really, again, that doesn't allow for you to be innovative and to be explorative and to have fun and to try new different things, you're just not going to get on that. Like that, you just know that it is not for you, and you are expressing yourself very clearly. So it's like you are not wasting your time anymore. You are not wasting your potential on anything that doesn't really align with you, that doesn't really speak to your true values, and that doesn't allow for your true creative expression. For some reason, that seems to be coming through so strongly. So maybe whatever it is that you are doing is somehow like a creative project, or something that you have generated or come up with on your own, something like that. I don't know. Again, take it as it resonates, pile two. But let's look at in which way you have moved closer to your dream life. Oh, sorry. Also, one last thing with this Eight of Swords. I definitely feel like, especially because the Page of Wands can talk about messages as well, or communication coming in. With the Eight of Swords, if someone is giving you, again, negative feedback, or trying to put you down, trying to make you feel like self-conscious or bad about yourself, it feels like you are not allowing these limiting negative comments to like hold you back, or to even alter the way in which you conduct yourself, or how you do something, or what you believe that you can achieve. It's like when other people don't believe in you, that's fine by you. You don't feel like you need to convince anyone. You are just doing what it is that you're doing. And again, it feels like maybe something that it could be something that you did more in the past, where you try to convince people that what it is that you are doing is good and it is valuable, and you wanted to get people on board. But I feel like now, if some people are not vibing with you and what it is that you're doing, then you are just letting that be. That's what I wanted to add with the Eight of Swords. But again, going back to in which way you have moved closer to your dream life. Thank you. Okay, beautiful. We have the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is Piscean energy, but it can talk about any water sign, so Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. We have the Page of Pentacles that came out in reverse, and the Two of Pentacles that came out in reverse, so some Earth energy coming through here, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, so I feel like this is very much like just a repetition of everything that we have been talking about. So I'm just going to breeze over this part quickly, because it's just reaffirming the same thing. With the Knight of Cups as the underlying energy, this is talking about you following your heart, following your dream, and following your ultimate vision for how you want your most happy, most fulfilled life to look like. So, this is you not allowing anyone else to meddle with what it is that you are trying to achieve and what you believe will bring you the most happiness, the most satisfaction. So this is very much making choices and making decisions from like a heart-filled space. Because with the Page of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Pentacles, again, both coming out in reverse, but I'm just showing the cards to you upright. It feels like, again, you are not entertaining any sort of propositions or any projects that are taking away from what it is that you're ultimately trying to do. I feel like you are a lot more concrete about like deciding on like what makes the cut and what doesn't, being almost like very black and white on whether this thing is worth your time and energy and expertise or whether it isn't. And you know, if it isn't, then you are just like letting it go. You are not wasting any time or energy on it. But I also feel like with the Two of Pentacles in reverse specifically, you are not really trying to do too much anymore. Like maybe something in the past urged you to almost like dabble in different things and almost do a bit of everything, where you were trying to be everything for everyone, or you know, do everything in a company setting or in a workplace setting, or maybe even like in a family dynamic. Like maybe you were taking on several roles and just trying to do everything yourself, and it was just way too like taxing and way too draining. But you just wanted to be valuable, wanted to show off how much value you bring to a certain setting. And now it feels like, you know, your plate is lighter somehow. Like you are not as overwhelmed, or it's not as like oversaturated with different things, different obligations, different responsibilities. I feel like you have cleared your life of a lot of like clutter and a lot of things that don't really need to be there. Yeah, it just seems like you have made a lot more space. And again, you have honed in with this Page of Pentacles in reverse specifically, you have honed in a lot more to what is the ultimate vision or goal, and not getting sidetracked by like new opportunities or new projects or things like that don't necessarily align with what it is that you are doing, you know? So yeah, as I said, feels very much like a confirmation of everything that we have been talking about. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. And let's look at the final question too, which is the biggest value that you are taking with you from this year. Of course, we have the Knight of Cups. It just wanted to come out. And thank you. Okay, we have Hermit at the bottom of the deck. So we have the Knight of Cups, which is more Piscean energy, or Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have the Seven of Pentacles that came out in reverse. And we have the Hermit at the bottom of the deck, which is Virgo. So I want to start with the underlying energy yet again, because this Hermit card, which is a card of the major arcana, is just so potent and powerful. So when it comes to the biggest value that you are taking with you from this year, it definitely feels like this is talking about your like self-autonomy and your own like belief in yourself, following your own light, following your own guidance and your own wisdom, listening to, you know, what you feel called to do, what you feel that is the right thing to do. And yeah, just sort of being on your own journey, not really allowing yourself to be affected or influenced too much by what is happening around you or what other people are saying. Yeah, so this is talking about being your own guiding light, being your own compass, right? Following your own inner calling and letting your light shine as well, because the Hermit is also talking about having this like massive amount of wisdom to share with other people, and living by example is pretty much what the Hermit is talking about, you know? Trusting in your own innate wisdom and knowing that if you follow your own truth, follow your own alignment, then other people will be inspired by it and they will have more courage to live their own dream as well, regardless of what other people are saying, what other people's opinions are, how other people may be reacting. So this is a much more of a self-reliant energy, and also I feel like this is knowing your own personal boundaries and your own personal limits as well, you know, to what you can tolerate and what you can't tolerate, right? Like allowing that space for yourself if you need to reflect, if you need to just like take some time out for yourself to take a self-care day, or to just, you know, meditate and get out of any of this hectic energy and just ground yourself in nature, or do a yoga session, or take a retreat or something like that. I feel like you are so much more apt at like demanding or requiring that time for yourself and standing up for your own well-being. So again, I feel like I feel like I keep repeating myself because the cards are just talking about the same thing over and over. So with the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, again, I'm going to try and show you the cards both upright so you could see. It just feels like the most value that you are taking with you from this year is, again, following your own bliss, following your own dreams and your own goals, and having a much easier time saying no to things that don't bring you the sort of results that you want. Like not wasting any more time or energy on things that are not in alignment with you, that are not adding to that vision, to that goal, and that are just, again, taking up space or cluttering what it is that you're trying to do. And I also feel with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, especially with the Knight of Cups, that, you know, even if you look back on things that didn't succeed, that you didn't do as well in as you would have liked to, or that you maybe even see as somewhat of like a failure, I feel like you are much more gentle and soft with yourself when it comes to those things now, that you are able to sort of see some sort of value in them, or you are able to appreciate them as part of the journey and not really get stuck in, again, seeing it as something that you did wrong, or seeing it as some sort of a slip or mistake. So I just feel like you are having a lot more of a wholesome view on things, and being able to enjoy the journey, being able to enjoy the process more, and again, not being as concerned with the actual results or rewards, which you sort of see are coming anyway, right? They will naturally follow all of this aligned and heart-driven work that you are doing. So beautiful stuff, pile number 2. But I want to close the reading out with some supportive messages from Spirit. So let's see if we can get some supportive messages from Spirit. Okay, we have one. Let's see if we can get a couple more. Okay, thank you. Okay. Just going to leave it here for the time being. Okay, so the first card that you got was Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. Yeah, definitely a good advice, especially when you feel like things are becoming a bit hectic and you are getting way too sucked into everything that you are doing and accomplishing. So yeah, just a good reminder to, again, take some time out for yourself, to look after your health, to look after your well-being, and to not let yourself get too carried away with everything. So we also have spring, see your seeds grow. Wow, definitely. So yeah, look, I feel like we can't get enough of the messages of like success and your work producing results. So I feel like this is just encouragement from Spirit to encourage you to keep going, right? Because your what it is that you are doing is producing results. It is valuable. It is needed. It has a lot of purpose and significance. So, you know, just keep on going. Keep doing what it is that you are doing, and see how your dedication is paying off. Finally, we have Trader, exchange energy to create abundance. And yeah, this again feels like a message when it comes to like collaborations and just working in partnership with other people, because it feels like, you know, with other people standing behind you and having almost like this dream team energy, you are able to achieve so much more than you would be able to on your own, right? And so yeah, this feels like you know, keep going, keep doing what it is that you're doing, and keep having these beautiful collaborative energies. And finally, we have Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. So yeah, things are good. Things are good. And also, again, don't forget to take some downtime for yourself, right? We had this Hermit energy here too. Don't forget to allow yourself to unwind, to allow yourself to switch off, and to just take some time for yourself and embrace these good times, pile number 2. But that's it. Wow, I love doing your reading, pile number 2, because it feels like you have had quite a year and it seems to be mostly very, very positive. Obviously, it doesn't mean that your whole year was like all roses and rainbows and everything like that, but it definitely feels like everything that you have done, you have sort of seen some form of rewards or results because of it. And I feel like you have a lot to be proud of yourself for, and to sort of keep the momentum going, to keep yourself pushing forward and to keep working towards that ultimate goal, that ultimate dream. And I feel like you are on the path to success in any case, pile number 2. But thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. I really enjoyed being here with you. As always, I hope that this reading was insightful or useful, or at the very least entertaining to watch. And of course, I want to say a huge thank you for all of your support, for just being here and sharing your energy with me and sharing this space with me in general. And I really, really appreciate you and everything that you have done for this little channel, for likes, comments, subscribes, all of that. I am so, so grateful. But yeah, take care, pile number 2. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 3. So you chose the Gazelle card. And based on this particular card, the first inklings that I'm getting about what sort of year you may have had is one of possibly being under scrutiny, which is so strange because I have to say, normally this card makes me feel very soft and very sort of, I don't know, warm and fuzzy, and also, just like, I don't know, admired as well. But for some reason, in this instance, it doesn't seem like the most comfortable energy. There may have been quite a lot of eyes on you. You may have done something or just found yourself in situations where somehow you were at the spotlight or you were at the center of attention. Maybe even in instances where you didn't really want to be there. So, there could have been some like dramas or just like difficult interrelational situations, and maybe other people dragged you in the middle of it, even if it wasn't necessarily your drama. So I don't know, as I said, it's so strange. I don't know why this is coming through, and I'm not sure if this is going to resonate with everyone watching this pile, but I definitely feel like it's the message for some of you there. But yeah, it just in general feels like somehow you had to step up to some sort of position where maybe you haven't really been too often, or where you don't necessarily feel too comfortable. But I also feel like as a result of needing to step up in some way, and as a result of having a lot of attention on you, or having a lot of focus on you, or other people looking towards you and expecting some things of you, or requiring some answers to problems or solutions or something like that, I feel like as a result of that, you also have grown so much in self-esteem and in how you see yourself and in how you show up in the world as well. I feel like your whole presence and your whole appearance as well has shifted, and possibly in a way that you don't fully understand yourself, but I feel like maybe other people have let you know that you are somehow different, or there is something different about you. And maybe you have, gotten a lot of this feedback that you have somehow like morphed into this more confident, more self-assured, more commanding person. And yeah, it just feels like people are noticing this growth of confidence within you. But as I said, it definitely feels like it hasn't been a smooth journey for you, and it possibly hasn't even been something that you asked for. It's almost something that just like befell on you, or like you were chosen for these roles that you were put in, or these responsibilities that you had to carry, or yeah, I don't know. That's what is coming through, pile number 3. So at the end of the day, even though it feels like the past year has been somewhat challenging, definitely, it also feels like it has made you feel so much better about yourself and about what you can accomplish when you put your mind to it. and how much like power you really have. So yeah, that's just the first sort of inklings that I got from this Gazelle card. And now we're going to get some more details, because we're going to look at specific keywords or main themes of the past year. So that will hopefully give us a bit of a more detailed and specific, description of your past year. So you will have an easier time understanding whether you are watching the right pile. So we have, can we get one card more for the main themes and keywords of the past year? Thank you. And again, main themes and keywords of the past year for pile number 3. Thank you. Can I get one more? Thank you. Okay, so we have ear with good news. We have wedge with someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. We have chair, empty, someone is leaving your life. Bat, take care, enemies are working against you. Crown, honor and respect will come to you. And bull, do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. Okay, so looking at these keywords and themes, it definitely feels like you have gone through, some challenges, as I said, with the intro already. But now the interesting thing is that the first card that came out was good news with this ear. And so I don't know why, but I do feel like there has been some sort of opportunity or something that was possibly offered to you, or just some sort of opportunity. I keep hearing opportunity, something that like opened up to you, possibly quite unexpectedly. And so it sort of like ties in with the theme that I was feeling previously with this Gazelle card, that there could have been this role that you were like almost like pushed into, or that you were put in without you necessarily instigating it or doing too much to make it happen. I feel like it was almost something that was, again, either it was like offered to you, it was suggested that you take up this role or that you step into some sort of position. If we just to give you an example, if we take the career field, right, or the job field, let's say that you heard from someone that you work with that there was a position opening up, and that possibly, because we also have this card, and for some reason I feel a tie with these two cards, with someone is leaving your life, there could have been someone that decided to like step down or change jobs or something like that. And so I do feel like a position possibly opened, and you heard of that opportunity, or someone like made sure that you were considered for that position. And so I feel like it was something that was a great opportunity for you, but it also was something that was going to bring a lot of challenges, or that was going to bring some obstacles, and that was going to bring some jealousy from other people or from like your other colleagues, right? So, and I'm just saying that this is an example. I'm not saying that that's specifically what happened last year or in the past year for you, pile number 3, but just to give you an example, it does seem like at one point in the past year, there was something that was offered to you, or some sort of opening that you either heard of or that you saw somewhere, that you just caught wind of. And I feel like you made use of that opportunity. And I don't know why, but I keep getting this like super strong sense that someone in your life really like pushed you or urged you to take up on that or to pursue something. So, and again, take it as it resonates, but that's what's coming through. So, that's one of the things that I feel. But as I said, I feel like whatever this news or opportunity was that you took up, that also brought with it a higher level of like authority, possibly a higher level of revenue, a higher level of responsibility and authority and freedom of decision as well, or something like that. I do feel like it definitely irked some people, and it definitely caused some turbulent emotions. And so, there could have been someone that was trying to like either get, like, again, if we just keep with the career example, right? There could have been someone that tried to like go behind your back or like get that job for themselves or somehow like undermine you behind your back, because we have this bat, right, with take care, enemies are working against you. So I do feel like in the past year you definitely may have felt like some sort of enemies or just adversaries, people that you maybe don't necessarily vibe with, or maybe even they were people that you thought were your friends, or that you know, even if they weren't your friends, maybe you just didn't think that they had something against you. So it was almost like some sort of threat that came out of nowhere, or just some like resistance that came out of nowhere. But I just feel like it's because people, like, it got on people's nerves that you somehow were offered something that maybe they felt they were more entitled to or something like that. It almost feels like people thought that you got it too easily, or that you didn't deserve this opportunity or this position that you possibly, again, were either offered or that you decided to apply to because of, you know, someone telling you about it or something like that. Anyway, I feel like someone, or you may have felt resistance because of this sort of advancement that you experienced in the past year. And it may also have brought about, like, again, some people leaving your life. Maybe there was some friendships, or even if they weren't necessarily like friends, maybe they were just acquaintances or people that you thought that you got on with quite okay, that, you know, didn't have any beef with you or anything like that. But then, like, suddenly maybe they decided to like stop talking to you, or they just again started doing something like sketchy behind your back, and maybe you heard some stories, or it just feels like some people couldn't really handle the way that you were progressing, or the way that you were moving forward, and how you were achieving things, or the success that you attained. So you may have lost some people, or some people may have sort of decided to like act weird, possibly also in front of you, but I feel like most likely it was happening behind your back, or they just like, again, just stopped talking to you or stopped hanging out with you or something like that. But we have this crown card with honor and respect will come to you. And so, as I said, it definitely seems like at the end of this challenging journey, and with like people resisting you or trying to trip you up or something like that, I do feel like you actually managed to succeed in whatever it is that you were doing, that you were pursuing. And I feel like this role of authority, or this new level, this new position that you acquired, again, you know, it doesn't have to be like career-wise specifically, but you know, in any life area really where you have sort of progressed, or like, even if it was just some sort of like, I don't know, cool project, something that you do on the side as a side business or as a hobby or something like that. I just feel like you really managed to excel in that, and I feel like you really proved your worth. And so in the end, you came out of the whole situation victorious, and I feel like you won a lot of people over, and you earned a lot of people's respect. And so yeah, I feel like in the end it all worked out okay. But with this bull card too, with do not back down from opposition, I definitely feel like you had to work for it. It wasn't easy for you. You had to really push yourself possibly out of your comfort zone, because I am getting with this gazelle energy that you are not someone who necessarily enjoys like getting into conflicts and arguments. I just feel like you are more so someone who is more like diplomatic and cool, calm, collected, or who just doesn't like want to get into drama. And so it's like, it's possibly something that was very, again, inconvenient, or something that was uncomfortable for you. But again, I feel like all of this opposition that you faced, it definitely built you up and made you a lot more strong and a lot more resilient. And so it's like you are not really dimming your light anymore, and you're not afraid to stand in that spotlight, right? Even though it may irk some people, even though it may piss some people off, I feel like you are not really focused on other people's opinions and reactions anymore, quite as much as maybe it bothered you at the beginning, you know? So Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like. So it seems like whatever this journey is that you have been on, whatever this development that you have done, or this progression or leveling up that you have gone through, it definitely seems to be somewhat of a main theme or major keyword in the past year, because that's kind of what I feel that this whole reading is like centered around. So yeah, if you could resonate with this, if this makes sense to you and you recognize this within your own life, then definitely keep on watching, because we're going to look at some tarot cards next, and we're going to answer some more specific questions, starting off with where or how have you grown the most this year. We have the King of Pentacles that flew out in reverse. Let's see if we can get one more card. Whoa. Okay. Well, we're getting 4 cards, so I guess we're taking them. So we have the King of Pentacles in reverse, which is Taurus energy. But it can also be Virgo, Capricorn. And I'm just pointing out the signs in case you recognize them within yourself or around you. We also have the 7 of Swords. We have the 6 of Cups and the King of Swords. Okay. And we have the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Sorry, I think I forgot to mention with the King of Swords, we have Aquarius energy too, but this can also be Libra or Gemini. So anyway, looking at all of these cards together, I definitely feel like the biggest growth that you have done this year is definitely revolving around seeing who your true friends are and who are the people that truly have your back and that truly support you and truly want you to succeed, or yeah, basically, I don't know, just have your back. I guess that is the best way to say it. And who are just there to like benefit off of you in some way, or who have their own self-interests at heart. And based on that knowledge, it definitely seems like you are not allowing that energy to impact you quite as much anymore, because I feel like it could have been something that you really like either took really personally, or that you had a hard time getting over. You know, if there were people that really that you thought were your friends, but then ended up like betraying you, or you finding out that they had actually said some things behind your back or something like that. I feel like previously it would have really gotten to you and gotten under your skin. But I feel like now, because you have gone through this like level of almost like maturing, and I'm not saying that you weren't mature before, but there seems to be some sort of, again, like up-leveling that you have done within yourself too. And because you have gone through that, it doesn't really bother you that much anymore. Or it doesn't get to you as much anymore, because you are more so relying on yourself. So we have this, like, I'm really interested in like these 2 cards together with the King of Pentacles in reverse and the 7 of Swords. I'm showing you the King of Pentacles upright so you could see this super sweet illustration. So with the King of Pentacles in reverse, it just feels like a very untrustworthy person. And, you know, like there isn't a strong foundation to build on. But this can also talk about like having a bit of a low self-esteem, or feeling unsure of your own worth, and maybe even like downplaying your worth a bit. Like, I don't know why, but that's what's coming through with this King of Pentacles in reverse. So it could have been talking about like you previously, again, where you were maybe trying to, again, dim your light somehow, or just play a bit smaller so that you could fit in. But I feel like now you are not really doing that anymore. Now you have the courage to, like, with this King of Swords, it feels like now you have the courage to really just sit in your power unapologetically and be very, very truthful and upfront about who you are, what your values are, what your beliefs are, what your perspective is. And yeah, you're just sort of sitting in your own truth. But I also feel with the 7 of Swords and the King of Pentacles that, again, this could be talking about, like, again, possibly someone that you trusted, or someone that you thought was your friend, but that ended up betraying you somehow. Or yeah, these could have been even like several people. With the King of Pentacles in reverse, it just feels like a bit of like a foundational shift occurred. And because we have the 6 of Cups here, as I said, I kept feeling that this is talking about like someone that you thought was your friend, because the Six of Cups is very much like a kindred spirits and a kind and generous energy. But when it comes out next to the Seven of Swords, it definitely feels like it isn't really the most authentic of friendships or the most authentic of connections, or there is something that is hidden, like there are some hidden intentions or hidden agendas. And so yeah, it just feels like this is the place where you have grown the most, pile number 3. And I'm not gonna like keep on talking about the same thing. So let's sort of move on. But I want to say with the Ace of Swords as well, that as this being the underlying energy, it just feels like you are so much more focused on like authenticity, sincerity, and truth. And it's like uncompromising truth. So it's something that I feel like you have learned not to compromise on your standards or not to compromise on your beliefs in order to, again, let someone else shine or make someone else feel better or something like that. I just feel like you are much more comfortable and much more confident in just saying how it is and, again, being unapologetic about it. And, you know, that's not a bad thing. I feel like that's actually a really good thing, because it allows you to do what it is that you are supposed to do what it is that you were meant to do, right? Because I feel like it is no coincidence and it is no accident that you were put in this position that you are in right now, and that you have gone through this development and growth that you have gone through, because it was meant for you. It's like you have a natural affinity for it. That's what I heard right now, natural affinity. Okay, also one last thing I want to say before I move on is that you may have also learned to establish better boundaries when it comes to people in your life, and especially people that you also have some sort of like, again, possibly more friendly connections with, but that you maybe also have to deal with in some other regard or in some more like business-like or official regard. It just seems like you are able to not allow those connections to cloud your judgment as much anymore. So yeah, anyway, that was just something that I felt like I needed to add. But let's move on to the second question. And that is all about, in which way have you moved away from what you don't want for your life? You're getting so many cards. Wow, okay. Yeah, we have the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. We have the Moon, which is Piscean energy. We also have the Knight of Swords, which is Gemini, or can also be Libra or Aquarius, so just air energy. And we have the Page of Wands in reverse, which is fire energy. So I definitely get the sense that maybe before you allowed your fears a bit more reign than you do now. And what I mean by that is that, you know, if something was unfamiliar to you, if something scared you, and you maybe didn't feel too confident in whatever you were supposed to do or whatever was like presented to you, it feels like now you have this attitude where even if something scares you, you are going to be doing it anyway. It's like you are rushing ahead into the unknown. With this Knight of Swords and the Moon, it definitely feels like, you know, you are not allowing your fears to hold you back anymore, and you just sort of charge in with this determination and with this courage, and almost like this, you know, it feels like an attitude of, I will figure it out once I get there, you know, or once something comes up, I will deal with it then. You are not allowing like this over-analyzing or thinking too much ahead and trying to conceptualize how you are going to deal with some hypothetical situations that could be coming up. You're not doing that anymore. Maybe in the past you know, may have missed out on certain opportunities or certain paths or choices because you were too scared to take them on or too scared to try. But I feel like now you are much more like, again, much more proactive. It's almost like you are doing something first and then like, you know, thinking about it as you go along. And I feel like as a result of that, your life is just so much more full of opportunity. Because with the Three of Swords, yeah, I'm going to start with this first. With the Three of Swords being the underlying energy here, it definitely feels like you may have some regrets about the past or about the decisions that, again, I feel like you didn't, or I should say, you made the decision because even if you decide to not do anything, if you just sort of stay as you are and you allow something to pass you without saying like a concrete yes or no to it, it's still like making a decision. It's still making a choice. And so it feels like there could be some things from the past that like still pain you to some degree, or that still cause you to think back on things in a bit of a sad or disappointed way. And so now it feels like, again, with this Page of Wands in reverse, you know, even if something is somewhat like intimidating, or you are not quite sure whether you have what it takes, or there is something that is, you know, causing hesitation in you, with this Knight of Swords, it just feels like you are jumping in anyway. You are pushing yourself to go after it anyway, to try, to see what happens. And yeah, so in that sense, it feels like you are working your way towards a life where you are not having to feel regret over things that you didn't do. And you are not having to feel that sense of like beating yourself up over being disappointed in yourself or something like that, or feeling like you let yourself down or you haven't lived up to your potential. And so you're not allowing life to pass you by anymore. And even though I do feel like you really didn't necessarily do that in the past either, it's just something that you subjectively may be feeling that you did, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. But anyway, let's look at in which way have you moved closer to your dream life. Okay, can we get one more card? Wow, okay. We have the Six of Swords that came out in reverse. We have the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And what was this card here? The Ten of Swords. We're getting quite a lot of swords energy. So you could be an air sign, or you could have significant people that are either tied to this whole scenario, or that are very significant and play a big role in your life who are air signs. So those again would be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, this is kind of funny because I feel like these two cards are really talking about the previous point I just made, because with the Ten of Swords and the Six of Swords coming out in reverse, again, it feels like it's talking about past situations that like either didn't end up happening or that you feel like you lost out on. Like there's some sort of past pain here with this Ten of Swords. And with the Six of Swords in reverse, it just almost feels like you are coming back around. Or again, like in the past sense, it talks about the opportunities that you didn't take, that you didn't pursue this dream that you had, or you didn't take this step that you really wanted to, but that, you know, scared you, something like that. And so, because between these two cards, we have the Four of Swords, between the 10 and the 6 of Swords. So Four of Swords is all about like rest and stillness and sort of being inactive, right? And so again, it just feels like that is something that you are not doing anymore. You are not in this inactive state anymore. You are much more, again, as I said, proactive. So that's why I felt like it was so interesting that we are getting kind of like the same message here. So it feels like these two areas, so the things that you moved away from and the things that you are now moving towards when it comes to achieving your dream life, they are very much inextricably linked, and they are almost like kind of the same thing is what I'm getting. We also have the Five of Swords, which is at the bottom of the deck. So again, this feels like a beating yourself up over what happened in the past. Like it's that sort of energy. Yeah, it's just about like having some regrets about what you did and didn't do. So that's kind of what I feel here. So by like letting go of the past and by making peace with the past and what happened, I feel like you are now getting closer to your dream life, because you are not repeating the sort of same mistakes again, or you are not allowing yourself, again, as we were talking about with the previous cards, you're not allowing yourself to be stopped, or you are not allowing yourself to stay stagnant because of something that is somewhat scary and unfamiliar to you. But I also feel like a slightly different message here too with the Five of Swords at the bottom, that, you know, again, people who are maybe somewhat like, again, conflicting, somewhat like aggravating or stress-inducing, people who are like bullies, or people who just, again, want to undermine you or are working against you or something like that. I feel like you are much more clear and concrete about like cutting those people out of your life, or not allowing them to like come with you into the future, come with you on this journey that you are moving towards now. So with the Six of Swords, it definitely feels like you are leaving behind the people who don't really vibe with you, who don't really believe in you, or who again have some sort of like fake persona about them. With the Ten of Swords, it feels very, very concrete. It's like these people have no place in my life if they are not wanting me to succeed or wanting me to move forward. If they are trying to hold me back, then they are not meant for me and they are not meant for my life. End of. Like that's what these two cards feel like they're saying as well. So it's like you are cutting off the dead weight. And I know that it sounds quite sharp, quite harsh, quite dramatic possibly. But yeah, it feels like you are not allowing your success and happiness to be compromised anymore. Let's look at the final question as well, which is all about the biggest value that you are taking with you from this past year. Okay, this one I feel like wants to come. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, but I want one more card. Okay, and we are getting two. We have the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck, which is a card of Neptune. So there is a connection to Pisces once again. We have the Queen of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy or just Earth energy in general. And we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus, and the Lovers, which is Gemini. So I want to start with the underlying energy first, actually, which is the Hanged Man. And so as a card of the Major Arcana, it speaks about going through these massive revelations and gaining some sort of clarity, having this aha or light bulb moment, and just starting to see things in a whole different light. So, you know, you can always see that there is, you know, sorry if this card isn't really focusing. Let me try to, there we go. There is always an aura or this like lighter energy that is around the Hanged Man's head, which really symbolizes that moment of illumination or that moment of realization where something just dawns on you. And again, it's like as you are doing something different, as you are out of your comfort zone, you actually gain a whole new perspective of what could be, what are the possibilities. And I definitely feel like the biggest value for you is that you are seeing things in a whole different light, and you are taking with you this whole new perspective. So that's kind of what is like the biggest keyword here, because with the Queen of Pentacles, again, it just talks about like this level of self-worth, self-confidence, again, feeling very secure within yourself and knowing your worth. With the Hierophant right next to it too, which is another card in the Major Arcana. And as I'm looking at all of these Major Arcana, it definitely feels like you have gone through some sort of a bigger spiritual, like not awakening, I don't want to say awakening, but it just feels like a spiritual development. Like there has been a massive growth spurt when it comes to like your soul, or yeah, like your personal development, and it feels deeper, like it's a soul level sort of transformation where you are doing things from your core, if that makes any sense. But yeah, with the Hierophant here too, it just feels like you are valuing your beliefs, your morals, what you deem to be like the foundation of who you are and how you want your life to be. It feels like you are setting those as priorities in your life. And it also feels like there is so much clarity now when it comes to what you feel is like the right thing for you and how you want to build your future, how you want to secure your life, and what sort of legacy you want to leave. I feel like those things are something that you are much more sure of now, and you are like honing in on them, and you are working very like in a very focused way, in a very determined way in that direction, like keeping that at the forefront of everything that you do. Because we also have the Lovers card here. And so again, because we have the Hierophant that it came out with, it just feels like you are valuing things that are aligned with you, with the lovers. You know, the people who see sort of things in a way, or where they understand where you're coming from and they respect your decisions and they have this sort of like understanding with you. It feels like those are the people that you are willing to like do things with or get into partnership with. Whereas previously maybe you were trying to make it work, or again, maybe there was some sort of compromising that you did with people that weren't really your people, right? But now it feels like you are much more like set on only doing the things that feel truly aligned. And I feel like you're also making choices from that most aligned and self-assured place. So again, it's almost like you are guaranteeing that you are like getting what it is that you want, getting what it is that you need, and not allowing anything to compromise your progress and to compromise your ultimate goals. So sorry if the camera is out of focus, by the way. I try, but sometimes it has a mind of its own. Anyway, just the last bit now left. I want to pull some closing messages from Spirit to just give you some guidance, some support. So let's see what Spirit wants you to know. What sort of supportive messages does Spirit have for pile number 3? What sort of supportive messages does Spirit have for pile number 3? Can we get one more card? 1 to 2 more cards, please, for pile number 3's reading. Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness, I love the underlying energy. So I'm going to show it to you first, actually. We have Magic Guardian with Unlock the Magic Within. Yeah, so as I said, this is all about this massive transformation that you have gone through, and almost like this unlocking of your true potential and your true shine. It feels like that is really the main key word here, possibly. But let's see what we got. We have Protection Guardian, drop your shields. So I love this message for you because it feels like Spirit is encouraging you that you are actually strong enough now, you are resilient enough now, that you don't need to, again, shy away or shield yourself from other people, other people's judgment, other people's criticism, other people's views, because it almost feels like they don't have as much bearing on you anymore. You know, it's this whole personal transformation that you have gone through that has made you so much more, just so much more strong. We also have Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. Like, exactly, that's what we were talking about as well. Again, having this sense of self-belief and knowing that you are so well equipped to deal with whatever comes your way, right? So as we were talking about with the Moon card and having these fears, or like heading into the unknown, and having the confidence of the Knight of Swords to just jump into it and deal with the situations as they arise, because Spirit is also saying that you have the skills and talents necessary to deal with them. And finally, we have Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. So I love that we're ending the reading with this message, because it just feels like Spirit is saying that, you know, the worst is behind you. You know, you have gone through the turbulent sea of resistance and jealousy and people wanting to tear you down, and people, you know, not believing in you or trying to downplay your gifts and your talents and abilities and stuff like that. It just seems like you are now past like the worst bit, and you have seen people show their true colors, and now you are much more aligned with like what it is that you truly want, standing up for what it is that you truly want. And that way I feel like also the people who vibe with you can find you more easily as well. And so it just seems like there are much more peaceful times ahead. And of course, I'm not saying that, you know, it's all going to be super easy and like all smooth sailing from here on out, but it just seems like you have gone through the thick of it, and now nothing can really get under your skin as much anymore. So, wow, pile number 3. I loved your reading. It just feels so powerful and so, yeah, just incredible, pile number 3. You should be really, really proud of yourselves and the year that you have had and the growth that you have done, because this is immense. But I'm going to leave you here. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. And I hope that this reading was useful, insightful, or at the very least entertaining to watch. And as always, I would love to see you back on this channel very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 4. So you chose the Elephant card, and the first things that I'm feeling off of this card that may resonate with the past year that you have had is that I just feel like it has been such a long journey. That's the first sentence that came to my mind. It has been such a long journey. I feel like you are quite wary of how much you have had to endure, how much you have had to go through. It also feels like you have had to rely on yourself and your sort of like your inner fire and your inner strength a lot this past year. I'm not sure why, but I feel like a very solitary energy with this elephant. And it doesn't mean that you haven't been surrounded by other people, that you haven't done things with other people. Like, you know, obviously we don't live in a vacuum, but it just feels solitary in the sense that even if you have been working together with other people or just hanging out with other people or having other people in your general vicinity, it feels like you were still in your energy. It feels like you were very much alone, or you felt very much alone. Like, it's making me think that you have had to like keep yourself going, or put a lot of energy and effort into like staying motivated and like believing in yourself and just putting one foot in front of the other to get to where you want to go. So, you know, take it as it resonates, but I feel like maybe there hasn't been that much support around you, or there haven't been too many people that you could like ask for help from, or you just felt like you couldn't do that for some reason. But in either case, whether you resonate with this or not, it just seems like the past year has been a tremendous trip. And it could also be that, you know, maybe you have actually traveled a lot in the past year, or even if you haven't physically traveled, maybe you have learned a lot of new things, or maybe you have pushed yourself in some area of knowledge, in some area of expertise. It feels like you have gained a lot of wisdom as you have gone through this past year, but I still feel like you are on your way to something. Like you possibly have made quite a lot of strides in the past year, but it feels like you haven't quite arrived at the place that you wanted to. So, you know, there could be certain feelings within you that you may be feeling like you didn't quite achieve as much as you wanted, or like there is still so much to do and still such a long way to go. So it kind of feels like you may be having some difficulty with like keeping yourself motivated or keeping yourself going. Because I don't know, I'm kind of drawn to this flame or this spark on this card, and it feels so tiny in comparison to the elephant. So it's almost like, you know, even though it's burning and I feel like you are still pushing ahead, it feels like you are somewhat struggling, because again, it just feels like this past year has been such a long journey for you. And so, yeah, I don't know, it may be a bit strange, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. Like a bit of a lone wolf energy, just sort of trying to keep yourself motivated, trying to keep yourself going, needing to be your own cheerleader or your own life coach or something like that. And just trying to stay dedicated to where it is that you are trying to go, but possibly feeling somewhat like you are not that supported by other people in your endeavors. That's the energy that I first felt most strongly with this elephant card. But we are now going to get some more details about this past year. We're going to look at some main keywords and themes of the past year. And as you are listening to those, hopefully it will make sense to you and you will recognize whether this is your pile or not. So let's see, what are the main themes and keywords of the past year for pile number 4? Okay, we got 4, so we're keeping those. And let's see what else. The main keywords or themes of the past year for pile number 4, please. Okay, 1, 2, I want one more. Okay, you got 2 that flew out. So, oh, you got 3. Okay, so anyway, we're taking all of them. Let's see. Okay, we have wreath, sorrow over a loss. We have inkpot, problems to be resolved. Cup, you should accept valid criticism. Star, guaranteed success. Scissors, disappointment in some affair. We have tiger, doing something risky, taking a chance. Handshake, a meeting with a stranger could be important. Bowl, plenty of material things. And wheel, indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. Okay, wow. So looking at all of these cards, it definitely gives off a very eclectic energy. And so I'm really not surprised that this energy of you feeling tired and really worn out from the past year came through so strongly, because it feels like quite a lot happened. And yeah, maybe you are still somewhat like processing everything that took place. The first 2 cards already are giving off a sense that there were some quite heavy and difficult energies that you had to deal with this sorrow over a loss and problems to be resolved. So it seems like, you know, there may have been a massive blow that you took this year, or something that you either worked really hard on or that you really wanted very, very much, very deeply. And possibly like either you lost out on it, it didn't happen, or like there was something wrong with it, or it didn't come about in a way that you had imagined. And so, you know, it almost gives off, especially with this ink pot, there may have been certain situations this past year where you had expected something to be completely different than it was. And it almost brought about this situation where you felt like you had chewed up, like, no, what's the expression? You had bitten off more than you could chew, you know? So it's almost like something that caused you so much more headache, so much more like problems and concern than you had really anticipated. And again, I'm feeling like there is, like, for some reason, it feels like you had to deal with these things on your own. We also have this cup card with you should accept valid criticism. You know, as I said, it came through that there possibly wasn't that much support around you and that you had to like carry everything on your own, or like the majority of the things that you were doing and pursuing. It feels like there could have been people that, you know, again, just really didn't see what it is that you were trying to do, or they couldn't understand it. And so with this accept valid criticism, you could have received quite a lot of people criticizing and judging what it is that you are doing, or again, even how it is that you are doing things or going about things. And again, this can be in any sort of life area, or in what regard specifically this talks about this whole journey that you have gone through this past year. It could be like a personal journey, it could be a relationship journey, it could be a work journey, or it could even be a mixture of those and any of those, right? Because as I said, this energy feels like very all over the place. And so I feel like not only with this criticism card, but also with this sorrow over a loss, it again makes me feel that, you know, maybe you did actually lose something or someone this past year, and it sort of brought about a whole bunch of different issues that you had to take on and resolve. But the interesting thing here is we have this guaranteed success. And so what's really interesting to me here is that it feels like you actually have managed to like take care of the problems that needed to be taken care of, or you have succeeded in like doing the things that you set out to do, but it feels like you don't really see that success yourself, because we have disappointment in some affair. I don't know, did I say that before with the elephant energy? Because like something came through about you feeling like you are not there yet, or like you are still sort of on the journey and you still have a way to go. And so I don't know whether I said that, but it like something about you feeling like you haven't really achieved that much. That's kind of what I feel with these two cards here. So it's like, even though these cards, sorry, again about the focusing thing, even though these cards are definitely indicating that you have had success in the year, and that there have been like certain milestones that you have gone through, certain little wins possibly, but it feels like with the scissors card that you haven't really felt that yourself, or you haven't allowed yourself to enjoy that. So it almost feels like you have been pushing yourself quite a lot this year, dear pile number 4. It definitely feels like that. And now I love that we have this tiger energy here, because again, it feels a bit of it feels like a bit of a confirmation. We have this doing something risky or taking a chance. And it definitely feels like you have been, again, like pushing things outside of the box, or you have been following your own path. And so I don't know what it is exactly that you are on this journey towards, or that you are working so tirelessly for. It could be just so that you could have enough freedom and you could have enough security and safety to live the life that you want to live, or live your everyday existence in a way that makes you happy and content. And maybe that is vastly different from how like society, or even your friends, or how like quote unquote normal people live their life. I don't know. But it feels like you have definitely taken a risk on something, and you have been doing things very much your own way. And I feel like that was a very big part of the past year for you, that you carved out this own journey for yourself, and that it wasn't easy, and that there were some risks involved. Maybe you even like compromised your safety in order to go down that path, or in order to achieve something. So you may have like left your old life behind, or your home behind. I don't know, that just came through right now. Again, take it as it resonates. But anyway, we have this handshake. A meeting with a stranger could be important. And it just feels like you have, like, again, it feels like you have been on this journey. Whether this is a physical journey or like a mental journey, it has already, you know, enriched you in so many ways. And I feel like it has also taken you in contact with some interesting people. So in the past year, you could have made some really significant connections, and possibly you could have stumbled upon people that either like really, again, helped you to see things differently, that changed your worldview in some way, or that transformed this journey that you were on in some manner. But for some reason, I feel like it's not necessarily so much in like a physical way. I don't feel like they did something to actively like help you, or I don't know, maybe for some of you that's the case, but I'm also feel like it's this either like conversational gift that you got from them, or something with like just talking to very different people, and again, strangers, people that you didn't know before. I feel like that's really something that was like a big part of this whole journey that you went on. So let's keep going. We also have this bowl with plenty of material things. So again, it feels like your year has actually yielded some results and some rewards, but it kind of doesn't seem to be like doing the trick for you, or whatever the results or rewards have been, it feels like they are not quite enough for you, or they are not quite like doing the trick. Yeah, you may have, I feel like you haven't necessarily felt like you lacked anything, or like, yeah, I feel that you haven't, I can't think of the expression that I want to say here, but it just feels like your needs were like in a physical sense at least, I feel like your needs were very much met. But there is something about, like, again, this emotional side that seems to be where most of this, like, feeling tired and feeling worn out and feeling like you still need to keep pushing, like, that's where it's coming from. And finally, we have this wheel with indecisiveness and allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. With this, I actually just feel like you may have stumbled upon certain experiences that you didn't plan for, or that sort of, again, came into your life unexpectedly. Yeah, it kind of seems like there could have been certain experiences or certain situations that arose that you didn't really plan for, or that you didn't intend on happening, but it almost seems like it was something either like spontaneous or just this perfect storm of situations and conditions that you really didn't have that much like power over. And so, yeah, there could have been a few like detours that you took this past year that took you to some interesting places. And again, it feels like maybe you yourself see those experiences as something that didn't really add anything to your journey because they were not part of the steps that you were wanting to take to reach that destination. But again, I feel like they were actually like they offered you something of value, something of substance. So I don't know whether you recognize these messages from your past year plan before, but that's the energy that is coming through. That's what I feel here. So if you could recognize yourself and your life, then definitely keep on watching, because we're going to be looking at the tarot cards next and answering some specific questions about how far you have come and the sort of development that you have gone through. So let's start with where or how you have grown the most this past year. Wow. Okay. So we have the King of Swords, we have the Tower, and we have the Ten of Wands in reverse. The King of Swords is a very popular card that keeps coming up. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups, which also came out in reverse, and this is a card of Cancer. So we have some water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but specifically Cancer. And I'm just pointing out the signs in case you recognize them within yourself or around you. We have the King of Swords, which is Aquarian energy, but could also be Libra or Gemini. And we have the Tower, which is Mars, so that would be Aries or Scorpio. Okay, so I definitely get the sense, looking at these cards, that the way that you have grown the most this year is by like uncluttering or decluttering your life in some way, like getting rid of the things or the situations or the people or the places that are just sort of like taking up space in your life and that don't really need to be there. So I feel like you are much more focused on what the sort of the end all be all is for you, or even if you don't have like a very clear image of it, it just seems like you have a vague idea of what it is that you are ultimately aiming for, like what your dream life would be. And so it just feels like you have eliminated a lot of the distractions, or even if you haven't eliminated those distractions all by yourself, because we do have the Tower card here, so it could also be a result of sort of the universe working its magic and removing some things from your life that don't serve a purpose for your highest good anymore. I forgot what the beginning of that sentence was. Sometimes that happens. But it just feels like the getting rid of that unnecessary energy has like unburdened you so much and made the picture a lot more clear for you, because we have the King of Swords here that came out first. And so that is just an energy of having a very clear sight and a very clear goal in mind, and being very determined, very clear, and having firm intention behind something, like just having this whole plan mapped out for what you want, figuring out a way to get there. And so, yeah, it seems like with the Tower and the Ten of Wands in reverse, that all of the distractions, everything that was taking away from you and that was taking up space, that was like stealing your energy or stealing your joy, stealing your enthusiasm, I'm going to show you the image upright too, so you could see the illustration. I feel like all of that has been like eliminated. And again, some of it has definitely been by your own initiation, but I also feel like there have been some like divine interventions that occurred. Yeah, it just seems like you are much more focused on what the end goal really is now. And even if some of these things that were like removed from your life that may have been somewhat like shocking or difficult to deal with, I feel like with the King of Swords, one of the ways in which you have grown the most is that you are now able to see the value or the reason behind it. And again, so you are not allowing yourself to get emotionally like triggered or swayed off your path. Because with the Queen of Cups in reverse, it feels like there has been some form of like detachment that has happened. And I feel that in like it kind of happened in the best way. I feel like it's like a really positive thing in this case, because whatever these emotional ties were or these attachments were, I feel like they were coming from a place of like self-sacrificing. So yeah, with this Queen of Cups coming out in reverse, I feel like these ties were holding you back in some regard. There is some healthy detachment that has happened as a result of this journey that you have gone through, as a result of this like gaining a lot of independence and a lot more like self-reliance, because we're dealing with King energy here too, which is like the most advanced or the most mature of all of the court cards. So it definitely seems like there has been some immense wisdom that you have gained as a result of going through this like turbulent journey that you have been on. It just seems like it has made things a lot more clear for you and a lot more focused. Yeah, I think it's really powerful, Plan Number 4. But let's look at in which way have you moved away from what you don't want for your life. This one. Okay. And can we get one more card? Thank you. We have the Seven of Swords with the Page of Cups and the Four of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So one of the things that I'm feeling here is that I feel like you have gotten rid of situations where you have been vulnerable with people who haven't really had your best interests at heart, or you know, where you have been in situations where people have like taken advantage of you somehow, or taken advantage of your kindness, or compromised your well-being somehow. Because I'm looking at this Four of Wands, which came out in reverse, but I'm showing you the image upright. With it coming out in reverse, it's making me think of like unsteady or unsecure foundations. And so I feel like you have almost been able to remove some of these shaky foundations from your life, where yeah, there's something shady about it. We have the Seven of Swords, right? So there is something shady, or there have been shady people that were a part of your life, or that maybe again, you know, acted in a way that would make you think that they are doing things for your benefit, or that they are trying to help you some way, but I feel like they were really helping themselves. And so with the Page of Cups, it just feels like maybe you kept on giving people a chance, or yeah, just sort of like even wearing your heart on your sleeve in some cases with the Page of Cups. But I feel like now you are not really doing that anymore. Yeah, it just feels like you have moved away from a place where people can, again, take your kindness as weakness and use it for their own benefit somehow, or use it against you in some way. And I also feel like there's just a lot less phoniness in your life now, that again, the people that don't really have a place in your life and in your future and where it is that you're going and all of this self-development that you're doing, I feel like there are a lot less of those types of people in your life now. So yeah, you have moved away from phoniness, and that can be a massive tripping point, right? It can be something that really slows you down and really hinders your progress. And so yeah, but also let's look at in which way have you moved closer to your dream life. I feel like this card wants to come out. And can we get one more? So we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the High Priestess, the Knight of Swords that came out in reverse, and the Page of Wands, sorry, that came out in reverse as well. So we're getting some very popular cards, some repeats. Okay, so let's talk about the signs that are here. We have some Cancerian energy with the High Priestess. We have some Gemini energy, or again, other air sign energy. So could also be Libra or Aquarius with the Knight of Swords. And we have the Earth energy, specifically Virgo, but this can also be Capricorn or Taurus with the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here. So I actually want to start off with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, because this energy is telling me that you have become so much more methodical and careful and persevering when it comes to what it is that you are trying to achieve. Like going after this goal that you have in mind, something that you truly want to invest in long term, in a way that is very, very much dedicated and persistent. Doing all of this preparatory work, it feels like that's the way that you are going about your goal now. And so, yeah, you are much more careful with the steps that you are making. So I find it interesting that we have the Nine of Cups that came out in reverse with the High Priestess, because it almost seems like you are so much more in tune now with the things that you maybe thought brought you happiness, but that really didn't, or that you thought were going to, you know, be a wish fulfillment and bring you all of this contentment and emotional fulfillment, but that didn't really offer that to you. So with the High Priestess, it just feels like you have this sort of inner knowing now, or you have this stronger intuition that you are being guided by, that is leading you to make the steps necessary to find this sense of joy and contentment that you are after. Because with the Knight of Swords and the Page of Wands both coming out in reverse, again, I'm going to show you the images upright. With both of these cards coming out in reverse, it just feels like you are not really chasing and making rash decisions and moves based on things that are ultimately like false motivations, or that are not really the path for you, that are just maybe like these glittery, again, just like, you know, spur of the moment, impulse driven opportunities, but that are not fully aligned with what it is that you're doing. So again, we're getting back to this energy of not allowing yourself to be distracted. You are closer to your dream life because you are now making more carefully thought through steps. You're trying to avoid making any mistakes or deviating from your path. And I also feel like you are much less, again, you are much less swayed by other people's opinions or other people's stuff, because you are so much more in tune and aligned with some sort of deeper inner truth with this High Priestess. So yeah, and finally, let's move on to the biggest value that you are taking with you from this past year. We have the Ace of Wands. Okay. Okay, interesting. You're getting so many cards piling up before. No other pile before you has gotten this many cards. So I feel like Spirit has a lot to say. So we have the Ace of Wands that came out first. We have the Moon, which is Pisces energy. We have the Sun, which is Leo energy. And we have the King of Pentacles in reverse, which is Taurus energy, or just more Earth energy. Virgo, Capricorn could also apply. And we have the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. Again, I want to start off with the underlying energy here. With the Four of Swords, it just feels like, in general, you are much more at peace with life and with how things are going. It almost feels like you have surrendered in some way, or have released this feeling of having to control things. And I do feel like it's because of this, like almost like a roller coaster of a year that you have had, and because you have gone through so many like ups and downs and back and forths and just all of these like twists and turns. And it has been such an unexpected year for you. And so as a result of that, you're not so easily shaken anymore. And you are much more at peace with sort of allowing life to take you to the places that are right for you, but also to just sort of be at peace with yourself and with the knowing that you are sort of clear on where you stand and what it is that you are trying to do. So regardless of whatever happens around you, you are not really too swayed by it, because, you know, it doesn't have any bearing on what it is that you are ultimately trying to do. So with the Ace of Wands specifically, it feels like, again, we have this fire element card coming through, right? And this is the epitome of like a spark of inspiration, or just feeling this drive and motivation to pursue a potential, to pursue an idea. And it's exactly like this little flame that I was talking about with the elephant card here. You are nurturing this little spark, this little inspiration, this little idea, and you are able to keep it going yourself. Like, that is one of the biggest things here, that you don't need necessarily anyone else to like believe in your vision, or anyone else to help you with what it is that you're doing, because you have already learned to do without those things. And so I love that this Ace of Wands is here. Now we also have the Moon, the Sun, and the King of Pentacles in reverse. And so I feel like with these cards, I feel like you have learned to be okay with this like unsteadiness, or not having like too many guarantees, right? Especially with the Moon, and especially with the King of Pentacles in reverse. It just feels like, with the Sun being smack dab in the middle here, that you are allowing yourself to be free, being able to find the willpower and like the motivation to keep on going, even when things are like somewhat obscure, somewhat dark, somewhat scary or intimidating, or again, unstable or unsure. Even if you don't have anything to like specific to rely on, I just feel like having this courage to face it anyway, and just almost having this like, I don't know, like naive belief, even though that sounds bad, I feel like it really helps you in this instance, because if you have this undying optimism and belief that things are going to work out for you and things are going to be okay, then like things are really going to be okay. Like, you will find your way out of any situation no matter what. And that's the biggest value that you are taking with you from this past year. So becoming unshakable, unbreakable, like all of these keywords are coming to mind. Wow, pile number 4. What a reading. This has definitely been an interesting one, but I want to close the reading out with some supportive messages from Spirit from this Oracle deck. So let's see what sort of support Spirit has for you regarding this reading. We have the Sun that came out. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Let's see if we can get a few more. Okay, and one more please for pile number 4. Supportive message for pile number 4 regarding their reading. Thank you. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm just chuckling to myself, first of all, because we're getting some repeats, but then also I love the underlying energy of both the tarot and the oracle cards saying kind of like the same thing. So the underlying energy is broken arrow, embrace the energy of peace. And it's kind of like the 4 of Swords energy. And so I feel like I don't even need to say anything there. So this is just way too perfect. But the messages that you got from Spirit: Sun, enjoy success and happiness. And I feel like the key word, like the emphasis here is on the word enjoy, because as we were talking about before with these tea leaf oracle cards, that you have been successful, you have seen results and rewards, and I just feel like you haven't allowed yourself to enjoy them. And that is like one of the biggest things here, which I feel like is also having an effect on your ability to keep yourself motivated and your ability to keep yourself going. These little wins are really what allow you to keep that fire burning, right? Because you are seeing little signs and some proof that things are going in the right direction and that you are on the right path, right? That this thing has potential and that you are doing what you are meant to be doing. So enjoy success and happiness. We also have Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. Oh my goodness. This is like exactly the best card for you, pile number 4. I don't know, because with that High Priestess energy that came through previously as well, it does seem like your intuition is on fire. It feels like you have some deep and immense and super powerful and profound insights that you have access to. With all of these Piscean cards coming through, you actually may be a Pisces or have like significant water sign energy in your birth chart. But yeah, listen to your intuition, trust your intuition, pile number 4, because it is so potent, and honor your inner knowing. And finally, we have Protection Guardian, drop your shields. So, you know, this is just a bit of a confirmation that, again, you don't have to like have that many barriers up, because again, I feel like you are much more resilient and you have a much thicker skin now than you did before. And so even if like criticism and judgment really got under your skin previously, I feel like as a result of all of the things that you have experienced this year, it has a lot less power over you. So believing in yourself and believing in what it is that you are doing, I feel like that is a massive keyword here too, pile number 4. But anyway, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I had so much fun doing this reading because it was full of twists and turns too. It was so, like, again, so interesting and so varied in its themes. And I hope that these messages were useful or insightful, you know, in some way, or at the very least entertaining. And as always, I thank you so much for choosing to spend your time and energy with me. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate all of your support that you have shown to this little channel. And as always, I hope to see you very soon back on this little channel. So yeah, take care, pile number 4. Bye-bye.